Gary Repchuk believes that, at the end of the day, success is not defined by how much money we have earned, but how happy a person can be with his accomplishment. Gary,
Hi, Rebecca.
welcome to the show called Self-Made.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Yeah, well, really exciting to know how you became a very successful man, but I'm sure that was not easy.
Actually, truthfully, life is easy.
Okay.
But it's just all the trials and tribulations you go through and kind of how you flow through them. But life's a whole lot better than the other thing.
Okay, but when you were a kid, do you always see the glass half full instead of half empty?
Or full.
Full, okay.
Full.
How that happened?
I was actually born a number of years ago in rural Alberta. Actually, I'm a farm boy from the province. Today, it's now middle of April here, but in Edmonton, where my children are, it is 20 below and snowing. So happy to be here in the Philippines. But growing up, yes, I even grew up in a smaller area. We grew up. Dad had a number of businesses. He was an entrepreneur growing up, and we lived. Our first house is really funny. We lived in a small house heated by a coal stove, bathroom outside.
So during that time, what you really want to become?
Actually, I was looking to follow my dad's footsteps and take over the trucking business, and trucking, farming. In rural Alberta, it's oil and gas, things of that nature. That's kind of where my mind went. But when I finished school, we lived right across the street from the bank manager's house. And my dad, without me knowing, essentially got me a job with the bank to go working with the bank when I was 17. So I left home at 17 to work for the Toronto Dominion.
So what did you really enjoy working at the bank?
It was just the interaction you had with the senior people within the bank, willing to give you their knowledge to make the bank a better place. Unfortunately, in about 1987, the bank came through and fired or put everybody into early retirement, anybody over 55 years in age. So every single individual that provided me my guidance over those 12 years at the bank was released. That's when I decided to leave the bank.
And what was your target to be a CEO?
Wandered around China for a while with a good friend of mine, Bill Pollock, helping him set up his business, and that's where I got the taste of Asia. So when the opportunity to come up to take a very new concept called mobile payments and bring it into Asia, I jumped at the opportunity. It was probably 2011, 2012, something like that. My son came with me, my brother from Vancouver and my brother from England and his family. We spent a month in Langkawi in Malaysia. Fantastic, but they enjoyed the vacation and I traveled. Singapore, Bangkok, Vietnam, Hong Kong, looking for a place to set up business. And after a frustrating month, kind of decided on Singapore. Didn't really click, but didn't feel good. But the day before we left, I called a friend of mine who's from Toronto, and he said, "Why don't you go see Manila?" You have to. I went, "Where is it?"
You don't even know where Manila is?
I didn't even know where it was. At that time, I was in Kuala Lumpur. Got on a plane to Manila. Within a day, I knew this was exactly the place where we were going to set up and do our business.
So do you believe that experience is the best teacher?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Most of my staff we'd hired completely inexperienced, especially here in the Philippines. I would say, and I don't have the stats because we don't keep them, but I would say over 90% of our staff from the province. All of them are from, in fact, we don't have any development staff from any major universities. The experience, we hire them fresh out of university if we can, or college. And in cases, some didn't even have that. Did you have the talent? And so I look for a combination of intelligence is important, but also being smart. So having the two of those and finding the right individuals that fit that mold, because we're asking them to do something that in most companies would be given to very senior people. And one of the most difficult things we have in our development is terminal certification, technical stuff.
Yeah.
We give it to our newest people. And it tells us right away if the decision we made was the correct one.
Being a foreigner in Philippines, what excites you, and also giving the opportunity for other foreigners to come and invest also in Philippines?
Probably the thing that's surprised me and I enjoy the most is the sheer volume of opportunities you have here. It's massive. And the things that make it enjoyable is that when you meet anybody else, whether it's an expat or a foreigner or another Filipino, as you're working together, there's more of a sense of what can we do to cooperate, to work together. As I tell my friends, Rebecca, the Philippines is an easy place to live. It really is easy to live. Business anywhere is challenging and difficult, and whether we're in Philippines or Vietnam or Hong Kong or Europe or Canada, business is difficult. As you know, you got to grind away at every day. But life itself is very enjoyable.
What's your best message to your people? Because I know you love them.
I've told them this many times. The things that they're doing will change the lives of Filipinos in the years to come. That they were at the foundation of mobile payment in the Philippines. So they've all done a fantastic job and we're extremely proud of them.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Every success has its struggles. Every dream has its trials and tests. Listen to their stories, because if they did it, you can also be called self-made.